Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're doing something a little bit different. We've got a piece of content. It's a motivational script for language learners,
Yeah,
the kind for people who feel like they've just slammed into a wall.
right.
And we're not just going to summarize it.
Mhm.
We want to do a deep analysis, really extract the psychological engineering behind the pep talk.
That's the mission, exactly. This source material is designed to get someone moving again when they feel completely stalled. So we're going to strip away the rah-rah and find the rock solid, actionable psychological tools hiding inside.
So we're turning advice into a formula.
A formula for perseverance, yeah. We want to find the operating manual for overcoming that learning inertia.
And that central tension is just universal in learning anything, isn't it? That gap between wanting to be fluent and the agony of just doing it every single day.
It absolutely is. And what's so fascinating about this source is that it immediately targets that exact friction point. It knows that before you can even talk strategy, you have to deal with that overwhelming feeling of being, well, stuck.
Okay, let's unpack that then. Section 1 is all about empathy, like an empathy hook. Before it gives any advice, it validates the pain. What are the main reasons it says learners just want to throw in the towel?
It points to three main villains, and they are so common. First, just feeling tired.
Sure.
Second, that feeling of being stuck, the plateau effect.
Uh-huh.
And then the third thing, which comes from the first two, is that little voice of self-doubt that says, maybe this is not for me.
That self-doubt is the real progress killer.
It is.
But the script just slams the door on it. It says, flat out, it is for you. Why is that emotional validation so critical? Why is it the first step?
Well, because if a learner feels ashamed or, like they're personally failing because they're struggling, then none of the advice is going to land.
Right, they'll just reject it.
Exactly. So the script is actually doing a bit of cognitive reframing here. It connects the struggle not to failure, but to a universal process. It keeps reinforcing this core belief that every time you study, you get better. It reframes struggle as proof of effort, not proof of failure.
So it's basically guaranteeing progress, even if you can't see it or feel it right now.
Yes.
And that's where that first little nugget of perseverance comes from,
Yeah.
right? Accepting that progress is subtle. The script says, you may not notice the progress today, but your future self will thank you.
I think that needs an analogy. It's like boiling water.
Okay.
You add energy, right? The temperature goes up, but for a long time, nothing really looks like it's happening. Then all of a sudden, you hit that boiling point and everything changes. Learning a language is just like that.
Yeah.
You're putting in the energy, the study time, but the payoff isn't visible until you hit a cognitive tipping point.
So you have to trust that the energy isn't wasted.
You have to trust it. It's just increasing the temperature.
That completely shifts how you measure success. If you judge success by feeling mastery today, you're always going to lose.
Mm-hmm.
But if you judge success by just showing up and doing the thing, you always win.
Exactly. And that's the perfect transition to the core mechanics of this, what the source calls the fluency formula. It's the real talk section. And it stresses that clemency is not magic. It all comes from consistency, not
Yeah.
perfection.
Okay, consistency over perfection.
Yeah.
I get it. But let me play devil's advocate for a second for you, the listener. If I'm already feeling totally burned out, overwhelmed, won't adding another daily thing just, I don't know, increase my stress, make me feel like more of a failure if I miss it?
That's a crucial point, and it's where the source's strategy is actually really clever. It's all about minimizing what psychologists call activation energy.
Activation energy.
The barrier to entry is almost zero. It just says even 10 minutes every day is enough.
10 minutes. That is an incredibly low bar.
It's the antidote to decision fatigue. I mean, when you're tired, the idea of studying for an hour is just, it's exhausting to even think about, so you do nothing.
But 10 minutes. Anyone can find 10 minutes.
Anyone. And the advice is super specific, too. It gives you a tiny daily plan. 10 minutes listening, 10 minutes speaking, 10 minutes reading. This isn't just a list of tasks. It's meant to be an easily repeatable anchoring habit.
So the goal isn't really the content you cover in those 10 minutes.
No.
The goal is just to show up, to override that inertia. It's about doing a little bit when you feel tired or frustrated.
That's the leverage point. It keeps the streak going. If the bar is high, you're probably going to fail. If the bar is 10 minutes, well, the only way to fail is to actively choose to do nothing at all. Small steps don't just create big results later. They create a psychological win right now.
Okay, let's shift from the action plan to the internal dialogue. Section 3 is all about the power of affirmation, using repetition as a tool for motivation. The script has learners repeat these very specific, loaded phrases.
And these phrases, these are the cognitive reframing tools we were talking about earlier. They're designed to shift the learner's what's called their internal locus of control.
Explain that. How does repeating, I am improving every day, actually shift your locus of control?
Well, someone with an external locus of control might say, I hope the test is easy, or I'll learn if the teacher is good. Success and failure come from outside forces.
Right. It's not up to them.
But these affirmations force an internal locus of control. When you repeat phrases like, I will not give up, and I believe in myself, and especially I am becoming fluent, you are taking ownership. You're not waiting for fluency to happen to you. You're declaring that you are actively making it happen.
I noticed in the later affirmations, it moves from something more passive like I am improving to this really powerful active statement. I choose progress, not perfection. That feels like a huge psychological pivot.
Oh, it is. It's the ultimate commitment phrase. It builds what we call self-efficacy, the belief that you can actually do the things required to get the results you want. When you declare, I choose progress, not perfection, you basically neutralize the single biggest anxiety in language learning.
The fear of making mistakes.
Exactly. Because if you're chasing perfection, every mistake is a crisis. But if you're chasing progress, every mistake is it's just data.
And what about the other phrases like, English is my tool for a better future?
That solidifies the why. It connects the daily grind to a long-term goal. The psychological intent is clear. These affirmations are the mental software that makes you want to keep practicing. The voice of doubt gets systematically overwritten by the voice of choice.
Okay, moving into the final message. The source widens the lens here to the shared struggle, this idea of community. It tells the learner, you are not alone on this journey. Why is that important for something that feels so individual?
Because struggle, when you face it in isolation, almost always creates shame. We end up comparing our internal mess to everyone else's external highlight reel.
So true.
So by reminding you that millions of learners around the world feel the same struggles, but they continue, the script normalizes the experience. It takes that burden of feeling uniquely bad at this right off your shoulders.
Which makes continuing feel more achievable. It's not just me, it's a universal part of the process.
And that connects right back to the core message of belief. The final instructions are so clear. Believe in your progress and, crucially, trust the process.
That's the process.
And trusting the process means trusting the formula we've just been dissecting. Trusting that the tiny 10-minute commitment is actually building something huge, even if you can't see it. And trusting that the affirmations will manage the mental roadblocks. The promise is, if you do that, the outcome is guaranteed. And you will continue to. It closes the whole loop.
So what does this all mean for you, the listener, who's trying to push through that plateau? This deep dive shows us that the path forward really relies on two big intertwined pillars from this source material. First, that low-threshold daily consistency, that 10-minute habit.
And second, the active, purposeful management of your own internal doubt. Using those strategic cognitive reframing tools, you're literally retraining your inner voice to focus on choice and progress, not on perfection.
So, if the psychology here shows that even just 10 minutes a day is enough to guarantee progress, what does that realization actually change about how you see your busy schedule? It kind of dismantles the excuse for quitting, doesn't it?
It does. And that brings us to the final question we want you to think about. If you accept this idea that a little bit every day will change your life, then what's the one small, almost ridiculously easy, do a little bit action you'll commit to today? What's your 10-minute version of choosing progress?
Something to think about. Take care, stay motivated, and keep practicing. We'll catch you on the next deep dive.